Let's go to Congressman Brian Bilbray. Congressman, it's good to have you on the air.
Great to be on the air.
Listen, I've got to ask you, just because it's the top of the news tonight at this hour, is the now just passed away Michael Jackson, the late Michael Jackson, was he one of your constituents?
No, he wasn't. I'm actually from San Diego, no, he was a little farther north of me.
I didn't know how far your district stretched, but Congressman, it's good to have you on. There's a lot of things going on right now, and we wanted to step right through them. Last night, the President of the United States tried to make his case on ABC television that America needs to have the government reform its health care. What's your take?
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sitting in the White House right now as I speak to you, and I think that maybe Washington needs to reform some of its attitudes of how you take care of problems in this country, and thinking that throwing more government, more taxpayers' money at a problem somehow cures everything. And I think the president needs to step back and kind of take a breath and realize we're putting trillions of dollars at every problem we see on the horizon, and now he's talking about putting another $1 or $2 trillion into the health care issue without taking the time to really make sure that it hits the mark.
You know, it's funny because last night even Diane Sawyer said to the president, look, the Mayo Clinic that you use as an example is already doing this. If the private sector is already doing it, why does government need to get involved? And all he said was, well, they're not doing it fast enough, or they're not doing it enough, and that somehow government would change the incentives.
Look, let's be very blunt about it, is the fact that, the president came out of Chicago, the suburbs of Chicago. He knows what he wanted to do with health care. It has nothing to do with the crisis of finances. This was a agenda that he's always looked at, always talked about, and now he's basically wanting to move the agenda now while he supposedly has political collateral, and before people look at it and say, let's judge it on its merits, let's not judge it on the popularity of a president. And I think that the thing that our children and grandchildren are going to live with is not the popularity of President Obama, but the policies and the expenses and the price tag that we put on these programs that we're promising or saying we're going to do, without talking about how we're going to pay for it.
Congressman, does the president also have the juice left, or the honeymoon period left tomorrow, to pass this cap and tax bill?
I'll tell you something. We'll see how it goes. And I'll just tell you, I've served 6 years on the Air Resources Board in California, probably the most strict and scientifically based air pollution group. This bill does nothing to reduce the emissions going into the atmosphere. It is really a backroom deal. In fact, the greatest threat to the environment is not what's coming out of our power plants. It's the smoke coming out of the backroom deals are being cut with every special interest group in Washington. Coal-fired plants, ethanol is being subsidized again and again. This is politics at its worst. It's everything everybody's upset about with Washington when the Republicans run it, and the Democrats are basically picking up the mantle of, political backroom deals in Washington and carrying it farther than even the Republicans carried it.
Congressman, the president also says he wants amnesty. Well, what you and I might call amnesty, but he calls comprehensive immigration reform. What do you say?
I'm saying that if you can't even be up front and talk about it, it's like people saying, oh, they're not illegal aliens or undocumented immigrants. And calling an illegal and undocumented immigrant is about as logical as calling a drug dealer an unlicensed pharmacist. I think that you need to be up front and says, I want to bite the bullet and reward people for breaking our immigration laws. And my attitude is, if you announce to the world you're going to give amnesty to people that broke your immigration laws, you can't build a wall tall enough to keep them out of the country. And if you really care about the working class and the middle class in this country, you got to stand up for the rule of law and stand up for the fact that you're not going to reward people for breaking our laws in this country, no matter who it is, even if it's somebody that you want to legalize so they'll vote for you on the next round, or that big business wants for cheap labor.
Congressman, it's great to have you on the program. You do a great job of representing the people of California. Thank you very much for taking the time tonight.
Anytime. Thank you very much.